So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning. Like, Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
The Indiana Fever just played their biggest game of the season, sold out crowd, playoff energy, and Caitlin Clark going head to head with the reigning champs. It should have been a WNBA showcase. Instead, it turned into a refereeing disaster. Clark took some hard contact with no calls. Lexi Hull got whistled for a foul no one saw. And honestly, it felt like the refs were doing New York a favor. Fans weren't just confused, they were angry. Even head coach Stephanie White had enough. And Caitlin? She didn't stay quiet either. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks. This wasn't just a one-off bad game. It's part of a bigger issue that's starting to damage the league's credibility. Now, things have escalated. In a stunning move, the WNBA has suspended Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. That's right, the commissioner. An internal investigation found she failed to properly address rising complaints about officiating, despite growing pressure from players, coaches, and fans. It's the first time anything like this has happened in league history, and frankly, people aren't shocked anymore. What's even wilder? Rumors suggest some team owners and league execs had been quietly working behind the scenes to push her out, especially after top stars like Caitlin Clark and their coaches started speaking up publicly. Some believe this goes beyond bad officiating. It's about preserving the league's reputation, and Kathy may have been made the fall person. So don't go anywhere. We're breaking down the missed calls, the chaos, and why the WNBA has to get this fixed fast, or risk losing the very fans they've just started to win over. Let's dive in.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Let's be real. People are straight up saying the league feels rigged, and they are not holding back. From the opening tip, something just didn't feel right. This wasn't your average home game. It had the intensity of a playoff showdown. The crowd in Indianapolis was electric, big names were in the building, and the atmosphere was unreal. The Fever showed up ready for war. But the refs? It seemed like they had a different agenda. Caitlin Clark was getting hammered all game with no calls. And when Lexi Hull played clean, disciplined defense, she still got slapped with a phantom foul.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like, when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss some.
Meanwhile, the Liberty were basically living at the free throw line. And let's be honest, this isn't a one-off. It's starting to look like a trend, not an outlier. So if you watch this game live, ask yourself, did it actually feel fair? This didn't just start last night. Ever since Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, the physical play against her has gone up a notch. She's been bumped, grabbed, and even blindsided. All while the officials stay quiet. Remember that off-ball hit from Kennedy Carter? That wasn't just a rough play. It was straight up dangerous. Yet the refs called it a common foul. No flagrant. No technical. Just business as usual. And it's not just Clark. The whole Indiana Fever squad has been getting the short end of the stick with these calls, game after game.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CBS.
Want the stats? Here they are. The Fever are currently minus 31 in free throw differential this season. That's not a typo. That's a full-blown issue. Now, let's go back to the Liberty game. On paper, it had everything. Caitlin Clark dropping dimes to Aliyah Boston, Lexi Hull locking down on defense, highlight moments, wild momentum shifts. It had all the makings of a classic. But instead, what did we get? A game dominated by referee controversy. New York took 32 trips to the line. Indiana? Just 15. That's more than double. In a tight contest, that's not just a number. That's a game changer. And it wasn't just how many, it was what kind. The Liberty were getting whistles for light contact. Meanwhile, the Fever were getting botted with no calls. It felt like two completely different sets of rules were being applied. Caitlin Clark was repeatedly bumped off her position. And on the final play, she was absolutely swarmed. 4 clear fouls, not a single whistle. Can you imagine that happening to LeBron or Steph in the final seconds of a playoff game?
Disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game.
That brings us to Fever head coach Stephanie White. After the game, she didn't bite her tongue. She came out firing in the post-game press conference. She called out the -31 free throw differential, pointing out that her team was aggressively attacking the basket all night. Her words weren't just frustration. They were pure fury, and you could tell it had been building for a while. But Stephanie's message wasn't just aimed at the refs. It was for her team. She was making it clear, I see what's happening, and I've got your back. For a young roster still finding its footing, that kind of leadership is huge. Now let's talk about Caitlin Clark. She didn't lash out, but her body language said everything. The disbelief in her expression, the weariness in her voice, it was clear she was over it. And Aliyah Boston? She stuck with a simple no comment. But when you've been watching the game, that silence says more than words. Now here's where things get really wild. The WNBA has reportedly suspended Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Yes, the commissioner, gone. Why? Internal reports say she ignored ongoing complaints about poor officiating for months. Players were angry, coaches were at their breaking point, and fans? Fed up. And that's not all. Behind the scenes, some team owners had reportedly been pushing for her ousting for weeks. Once major stars like Caitlin Clark started going public with their frustration, it was game over. Some insiders think Engelbert was just the scapegoat. Others argue this change was long overdue. Either way, it marks the biggest shakeup the WNBA has seen in years. Here's the bottom line. The WNBA is standing at a crossroads. The league is finally getting national attention. Crowds are filling arenas. TV ratings are climbing. Caitlin Clark alone has brought millions of new fans to the sport. But here's the problem. What are those new fans seeing? Missed calls. One-sided officiating. Refs who seem like they are not even trying to hide the bias. And fans aren't clueless. They know basketball. They know when something's off. And if it keeps feeling rigged, they are not going to stick around.
Just another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA had a golden opportunity, a chance to turn casual fans into die-hard supporters. But with every missed call, that momentum is slipping away. So let me ask you, would you keep watching a league that doesn't protect its stars? This goes beyond bad officiating. It's about preserving the integrity of the game. Every player, no matter how big their name, deserves a fair shot. And here's the hard truth. If the WNBA loses Caitlin Clark's fan base, there won't be another moment like this to capitalize on. The Fever are doing their part. Their players are competing hard. Their coach is speaking out. Their fans are showing up. Now it's the league's turn to step up. So what really went down with Kathy Engelbert? At first glance, the league made it sound like she made a strong leadership move, suspending the officials after reviewing footage from the chaotic Liberty versus Fever game. Publicly, it was framed as a stand for accountability and fairness. But behind closed doors, things played out very differently. According to multiple sources, that same night Engelbert was quietly asked to resign by top league executives. And here's the kicker. This wasn't about one game or a few bad calls. The pressure had been building for months. The biggest reason? Growing allegations of favoritism, specifically toward the New York Liberty. And this isn't just fan speculation. It's coming from within the league itself. Let's rewind to last season's WNBA Finals. The Liberty edged out the Minnesota Lynx in a hard-fought series. But what people still talk about isn't just the game, it's what happened after. Kathy Engelbert walked onto the court wearing a dress in Liberty team colors. Fans at home were stunned. Wait, is she with the team? That image, Engelbert smiling in black and blue while handing over the trophy, went viral. For a lot of fans, it looked like she'd picked a side. Now maybe it was just a wardrobe choice. But for those already skeptical of the league's neutrality, that moment planted seeds of doubt. And every questionable call favoring the Liberty since then? It's only reinforced that narrative. Fast forward to the latest Liberty versus Fever game. A game defined by missed calls, no calls, and a massive free throw imbalance. For many fans, it felt like deja vu. The league suspended the referees after social media erupted. By then, it was clear. This was damage control. League insiders say team owners and executives had already been raising concerns in private. And with Caitlin Clark now drawing millions of new eyes to every game, the stakes were sky high. The league needed to act fast. So they made a move. Engelbert became the full person, the message. What began as a disciplinary action against referees turned into a quiet but significant power shift. She was out, not just because of bad officiating, but because the league finally realized what's really at risk: trust, credibility, and momentum. Let's be honest, if Caitlin Clark wasn't in the league, this probably doesn't happen. She's not just transforming how the game is played, she's changing how the league is run. She's bringing record crowds, massive media deals, and unprecedented attention. And with that spotlight, every blown call becomes a headline. That Liberty Fever game wasn't just a tough night, it was a national embarrassment. So the WNBA hit the panic button, suspended the refs, tried to quiet the backlash, and, ultimately, showed the commissioner the door. Because if Clark's fans lose trust in the fairness of the game, they'll leave. And when they go, so does the biggest wave of attention and growth the WNBA has ever had. So now the question is, did the WNBA make the right move? Or did they just reveal how deep the problems really go? Are the refs just underperforming? Or is there something bigger at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the WNBA completely overhaul its officiating? Or is this just early season turbulence? And if you've made it to the end, thank you. That means you're not just watching, you're invested. And trust me, this story, it's far from over. See you in the next one.